join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's another Monday.
It is.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the Monday, June 1, 2026 meeting as written.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Curry moved, Peterson seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. And we have a payroll notice. I entertain a motion to approve Coffee County payroll notice for Gracie Smith, District Court intern, new hire, wage classification 5-1, wage $15.96, effective June 1, 2026.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Thompson moved, McCurry seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
They opposed? That passes 5-0. Do we have any discussion on the hospital budget? I mean, we returned it to them. They looked at it, gave it back to us. We just need to make sure we pass it within 10 days. It's identical to what they submitted the first time.
Just because we had ran beyond the 10
We ran
days.
beyond the 10 days, and state statute
It's gotta be
says
done
it has to be done within 10 days, so. If we don't want to discuss that any further, then I would entertain a motion to approve the 2027 hospital budget in the amount of $3,111,025, and the ambulance budget in the amount of $1,106,984 as submitted.
Is it 84 or 994?
Did I say 84, 94?
Yeah.
994?
994. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. McCurry moved, Peterson seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. We have another payroll notice. Entertain a motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Joni Reppert, janitorial/maintenance. Hold on. My screen just jumped on me.
I bet I did that, sorry.
I typed that. Janitorial/maintenance custodian, new hire, full-time, non-exempt, hourly, wage classification 20-1, wage $18.41, subject to new hire probationary period effective June 8, 2026.
And this is to fill in the vacant.
Yes, yeah, and if I remember right, I think he said he has 2.
I believe that's right. We're down to.
I'll move for this one then.
I'll second it. Okay, Avandroff moved, Parker seconded.
Do you want me to put in there to fill a vacant position?
That'd be sure. Yeah. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That passes 5-0.
Parker
seconded. And we have the entertained motion to authorize and direct the chairman to sign the Coffee County payroll notice for Ellie Shoemaker, county attorney, summer intern, rehire, wage classification 5-2, wage $16.25, hours not to exceed 1,000, effective June 8, 2026.
I'll move.
I'll I'll second.
Thompson moved, McCurry seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That passes 5-0. And that wraps up our miscellaneous motions. Oh, 9:05, we're right on time. SOS Director Nikki Edwards. You have a 2027 budget request.
I do, thank you. You want me up here or
Yes,
here or what?
please.
All right.
Great, if you could.
Thank you. I do have a budget request. Thank you very much for giving me a few minutes to kind of share with you again what we do at SOS. I'm sure you're fairly familiar with our services. As you know, in Coffee County, we have a few different programs that we provide services. We are lucky that we actually have a physical office here right across the street from you, here in Burlington. And we have a great advocate. So Lex is with me today. He's our advocate for our crisis services program.
Hey, nice to meet you.
So we have had fabulous advocates here. We are also lucky in that Wade Billy is on our board of directors. So he keeps us very in touch with what's going on here in your community and in your county. So we had over 600 services provided to your county neighbors in 2025. So that was there he is, because Mr. Dewey. We had over 1,000 people who were impacted by our services last year. Not all Coffee Countyans, but that's a lot of individuals who need the services of SOS in our domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, stalking, and human
How many
trafficking
did you
services.
say, I'm sorry?
Over 1,000
Wow.
people that accessed our services in 2025. So it's, more people that need them than actually access them, because it's, it's difficult to decide that you need our services. But anyways, we provide that service to in 3 different programs in your community. So we have actually in Lex's office across the street our stalking, human trafficking, domestic violence, and sexual assault services that Lex assists survivors with. And then we also have our Child Advocacy Center. So we have an office there where children can come with their non-offending caregivers, and we do forensic interviewing for prosecution purposes, and we provide wraparound services and multidisciplinary team services to make sure that their families are getting the services that they need in those very difficult times when abuse and neglect is
So are you like
identified.
a regional, you do your program
We have
in different sectors in the state, or how does that
We have
work?
5 different counties that we serve, so Coffee, Osage, Lyon, Morris, and Chase counties.
Okay,
So
okay, and that'd be where these 1,000 people were served
Yes,
within those
exactly.
5 counties?
in Coffee County specifically, it was, you can see kind of in that letter that I submitted, and do you have copies of that with you? If not, I brought extras.
Yeah, I don't.
You-
We've got it.
We don't have hard copies, but we
Oh, it's
have
on your
not-
screen,
we have
okay.
it on
It's on your screen, okay. So in that second paragraph, you'll see that we had 276 follow-up services, so 608 total services. For follow-up, 276 services, 156 instances of just counseling. So we have 2 therapists on staff, and they can provide services, counseling services for free, which is really unique that we're able to do that for individuals. 44 protection orders. So Lex or other staff, but primarily Lex, will provide protection order assistance to clients who need them. 37 hotline calls came in, and 16 other types of assistance that we provided. So those are the types of things that we will provide, mostly through those for clients who come in for domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, and human trafficking. And then the other, outside of that program and our Child Advocacy Center program, we also have a Child Visitation Center. So we have, a lot of times families are referred by the court to come in when it's not safe for them, for one parent to visit in an unsupervised setting. They can come to our center for supervised visitation. So they have to unfortunately come to Emporia because we have to have security on site. We have a metal detector, we have a security officer on site at all times, so it's a little more, we have to have that facility there in Perea to do that, but we provide those services to your county. And actually, beyond the 5 counties, we have people from all over the state. There's only 8 centers in the state, so we're really lucky that we have one in Emporia, so it serves a wider region that we can provide that service. So do you have other questions about SOS or the services that we provide?
Much needed service, sorry we have to have it.
Unfortunately, it is. The other thing that I want to mention, I mentioned our counseling services, that we do have 2 therapists on site. The other program that I like to brag about is our prevention education. So we would love to work ourselves out of a job. We have Danielle Armitage is one of our staff members who goes into the schools, and she works with children as young as preschool age to help them understand healthy behaviors and safe adults, and hopefully to do some of that prevention work, and maybe when they're adults they will make better choices and understand what it is to be in a healthy relationship so that later they're not impacted by interpersonal violence.
Break the cycle.
Break the cycle, exactly. Well, thank you very much for supporting us.
I'm curious, how many on your staff?
Total staff, we have about 44 staff members. Most, our daytime staff is about 25.
Okay.
The rest of them are evening. We have some helpline staff who answer the phones and stay in our shelter overnight. And we have some who are part-time that do our supervised visitations and security for the
So your lines
patients.
are 24/7?
24/7 hotline. Helpline, yeah. Good question, thank you.
Well, thanks for all that you do. It's tough
Absolutely.
jobs for you folks.
Thanks for letting us come and talk. We like to brag about what we do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm always gonna get it wrong.
Coffee County Outreach Advocate.
Outreach.
I just wanna make sure I listed that right.
Thank you,
Thank
thank you.
What is Oh, okay. That's what it was last year.
When you're free, you just call me.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
Welcome back, Todd.
Thank you.
I guess you're next on the agenda.
Okay. So last Thursday, one of our employees had an accident in the Freightliner. He was in Gridley and hit an overhanging limb. It was over the street. I have pictures, but they don't show the extent of the damage. I'll just pass them here and you can pass them around. I do have the truck out in front if you want to go out there and take a look at it. And I brought Brandy because she's the one that had to deal with it because I was out of state.
Was the tree broken or something and hanging down, or?
No, just low, and he was close to the curb in the trees.
It was a box truck, is that right?
Yeah.
So is the coverage on that truck?
Through EMC, I think we probably have a $5,000 deductible. The insurance agent was supposed to come by Friday and he did not, so
Okay.
we're still waiting to hear back from him.
There's a limb, but
So, I mean, it's possible it can be fixed, but we'll have to take it around and get some estimates done on it.
Yeah, I don't know where even to tell you that the closest place, I mean, like Wichita or some of them places, I think that sell vans, I mean, they would probably have the capability to look at that and bid on it. Or-
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's places in Kansas City too, but I don't know of a specific place to recommend for you. I did a little looking, didn't see much as far as, I mean, they're out there, I'm sure, but I didn't see a used box that was kind of what you're looking for.
Yeah, and it's a 26-foot box, so.
I have 4 names, but the insurance,
Insurance gave her some places to check, so.
Okay, for repair or a possible replacement or what?
In the meantime, we're gonna continue to use it.
Uh-huh,
It looks bad,
right,
but we're gonna continue to use it. The pictures don't show, there's a big buckle in the roof.
It shows that on the inside though, where, yeah.
yeah,
But it's worse in person than it is in pictures.
yeah, you can, anytime you got whether it's a van or whatever it is, you wrinkle a lot of things and things get rearranged.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make the commission aware of it. Do you have any questions for Brandy since she dealt with it last week?
Brandy wasn't driving, was she?
She was not driving.
We basically took care of everything you needed to as far as the
Okay.
insurance and everything, so.
So you're looking to repair or replace?
Whatever we have to do.
Whatever you have to do.
The truck's fine,
Right,
so,
So you're just waiting on the insurance,
yes.
basically, to tell you what direction to go?
They can probably share where they, possible places for bids. That's what you said they did, or is that right, Randy?
yeah, Trust Point shared with me 4 places to call.
Okay,
Okay?
Very good. Does anybody wanna look at it?
You know, like I said, it's out here. I drove it,
damage.
so.
You're
Might
gonna
be
have to
able to
deal with
seal
the
that window.
insurance company.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
We parked right in front.
Well, we didn't block the sidewalk, but it's there, to your right.
Oh, there is a buckle.
Yeah. More visible this way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, up to the insurance at this point, or you guys to negotiate with them. and see
We'll get it
if
figured
can
out, but
work
we are gonna continue to use it.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
No, thank you
Thank
guys.
you,
Thanks,
Todd.
Doug.
He's not allowed to live in the state anymore.
We're a little early, Ryan, but, if you wanna be front and center. Sure. We'll hear your department update.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
No call outs this weekend. And a couple motions here. The first one would be, open bids last week for the Old 50 asphalt project. Received 2 bids. I think we sent that information up, but APAC and Kilo were the 2 bidders on that. Kilo was the low bid. Estimated start date of August 1st, and it's supposed to be completed within 60 days.
All right, I would entertain a motion that the bid received June 3rd, 2026 by Kilo Construction, Ottawa, Kansas, in the amount of $611,221.32 for hot mix asphalt HMA Project A 2605-C, funds to be paid from the Special Highway Fund.
So moved.
Seconded. Parker moved. Avondross seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0.
All right, thank you. Next, we also had our striping bids for our paint striping. Take place this fall. We received a couple bids on that. And I'd like to go with straight line striping, a little bit of $25.77 per gallon applied.
And how many miles of striping are we anticipating?
So I think on new asphalt and new chip seal, there was about 45, and then there was some restriping on I think roughly 40 miles, be center line and edge striking on that.
Okay. I will move, based upon the recommendation of the Road and Bridge Superintendent, that bid received June 3rd, 2026 by Straight Line Striping in the amount of $25.77 for both edge striping and center line striping for cost of material per gallon and application for striping project S2601-C to be paid from the Road and Bridge Fund.
I'll second.
Okay, I moved, McCurry seconded. Any discussion?
We'll say this is 16 cents a gallon higher than what it was last year, so just a very slight increase.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0.
And are you going to a 6-inch wide stripe?
On the, for the fog line, the white line on the edge, yes.
Uh,
The new recommendations are to go to a 6-inch line. I know a lot of counties and states have been doing that for a few years now, but we will start utilizing the 6-inch line instead of 4.
Makes a lot of difference.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's what I had. You guys got anything?
I wanna talk about what happened last week.
Okay.
I got called out again to the people that it happened, and we talked and we talked and we talked. And thinking back through everything that's going on, that I've talked to you about what's going on, there's 3 heads out there. I think we need to do a better job of supervision.
Okay.
And then another thing that this individual brought up with me, that was saying that you had told them that you couldn't find good help at paying $22 an hour. That is good money. I don't care what you think on that, for what's going on there. That's what this county can afford, and don't blame it off on the county commissioners for what they're paying.
I don't believe that was the exact
Well, that's
conversation
what
that's
got to
come out.
me.
So we were talking about actually nothing to do with
Salary
that.
shouldn't even have came up.
Well, we were discussing about some excavators and some equipment operators, and they were asking about a long-time equipment operator that we had, and I mentioned that he had retired, and so that kind of got into that discussion there, and with, losing somebody with all that experience, and we talked about the struggle of hiring new employees and having trouble to find experienced employees for what our starting wage is.
Well,
there was nothing
people are gonna have to
point blank
get-
that.
People are gonna have to get experience somewhere, whether it's here or
No,
not.
that's absolutely right,
And
and
that's your
that's
job and the other two is to
absolutely-
get out there
absolutely
and
right.
supervise.
And that's what we've
So
got,
this
I mean,
doesn't
with our
happen.
new.
The buck stops with you.
Sure, and that's how we're progressing and moving forward with our new employees that have basic skills. Now, they're not experienced, so we have to make sure that we're getting them in the seat time in the right situations, okay, not in front of people's houses where we're doing ditching, and, that's just gonna be a process, but that's what we've done. We've hired rookie equipment operators, because that's what we've been dealt with, and, we're finally full. We're vacant one position, and that's a mechanic's position that's been open for a while, and we don't need another mechanic's position. Now we're looking at maybe there's somewhere else that would better fit. But we've been 4 or 5 positions shy for 3 or 4 years, and, so we're finally getting fully staffed, but it's with rookie employees, and there's going to be some
You're fully
training.
staffed with supervision.
Correct.
Then let's get out and help them out.
They do, Todd.
Well,
I guess I'm lost.
Yeah.
we had
I guess I'm lost.
So, okay, so let's go, we're getting a couple different conversations here. So last week, dealt with a situation on a mower guy and getting a little aggressive on some mowing. And so basically mowed some crops off. He was mowing the right of way. Received a call from a landowner, so I went up and met with the landowner, reached out to a few other farmers in the area just to let them know that if there's something that they're saying that we needed to look at. Went up there, met with the landowners, kind of drove the areas that got mowed off. Had some really good discussion out of that, because, we struggle, well, we don't struggle, but there's always this balance of, taking care of the right-of-ways, what do we allow, what do we not allow? You know, in farming, and you guys have been all over, so you've seen it. Some people really respect that right away, like leave buffer strips and this and that, and some, like to try to farm every inch, and I mean, I get that. You know, there's places that, you know, they might be crowding the right of way a little bit, and the way the water runs and drains, it's not creating us an issue, so it's not the end of the world. But on the other side of that, we also have places that we constantly fight, we're constantly having to clean ditches, we're constantly spending money on maintenance, and so we try to have those conversations with some of those landowners, but it's just that balance, the balance that we're working in. So, you know, I met with the operator that mowed through there, and we discussed why, you know, why this shouldn't have taken place like this. On the other side of it, with the landowners, they agreed, yes, you should have mowed. I mean, we're so close here that it would make sense, how our tractor's set and how we mow, bottom of the ditch tires and this and that. You know, that they agreed with some of that. One of the spots, and I'll just show you here. So this was some staking for a ditch project here a while back. And so this particular spot can actually go back 2012, and there was 20 plus feet. I mean, the right of way was, I mean, it was grass. We maintained it over the years. Keeps getting broken out and farmed a little closer to where now it's 8 foot from the edge of the road. This is an area where the water drains off there, runs to the roadway, and creates us maintenance issues. I mean, this is what we're always fighting out there, so it's just trying to find the right balance.
On this, with this, what you're saying, if this was mowed and this wasn't farmed, there wouldn't be a road issue with no ditch there?
There would be a ditch there, and you would have some grass to help
There's
filter the
no
grass
ditch
out.
there.
Yeah, because they farmed it shut.
Yeah.
Farm it shut.
Farm it shut. I mean, this is a
They're
place that
farming
we,
to the edge of the road.
this is a place that we've ditched, you know, 2 or 3 times over the years, and trying to keep the water in the ditch. And
Is the flag the right of way?
the flag's the right of way, and like I say, this was just surveying to do some ditch work here is what that flag was for. So it's just, you know, I think it's good to have education and some just communication with the landowners, because it's all over. You got some places that people farm clear up to the windrow of the rock, so, you know, it's not like we know you can stop all of that. If it's not creating us a lot of maintenance issues, you know, some of it's acceptable, and I've got no problem with it. If it's been farmed a certain way for 50 years and they're not creeping over little by little every year, it's not the end of the world for us. But you know, we try to address situations when we see them. But it's hard to stay on top of all that because there's so many of them out there. But I mean, I had a couple of lengthy discussions with the people up by Lebo that were impacted, and like I say, it was very good conversations to have. They see the side that we're coming from, and they understand that. And I mean, it's just,
Well, both the parties that I talked to, they went back to, you got rookies on it, supervision, but if you're gonna have a tractor, mower, in a crop, there's something wrong.
no, that's right.
It is expensive to put that in.
Sure.
And I also seen where they're doing that, and it's helping you guys out to farm that way, because there's no ditch there. And
I mean,
if you put 10 foot of right of way south of my house, you'd be tearing a fence out.
yeah, but there's not that much right away through there.
But still, you're saying put the tractor tire in the road. I'm thinking common sense, look back, oh crap, I've got my mower in a crop, get it out of the crop.
Sure.
And that's what you conveyed to the operator.
That's what I conveyed to the operator. So, I mean, talking with the landowners up there, they were, I mean, seemed happy the way that was handled up there. And I mean, I know there's concern moving forward, but it's like, it's the educational side of having a newer employee that's mowing, and here's what we do and don't do. You have to use, I mean, some common sense and practicality. So, I mean, on the other hand, if they're farming up to the windrow, and I mean, you can't have corn 8 foot tall, 6 foot off the edge of the road. There's a safety liability.
And the ones I talked to had no problem if that was mowed in the corners of an intersection. If you guys mowed it back where you could see around the corners,
Yeah.
none of them would have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Nobody would on And I'd much rather see that than mowing their crop off in this situation. And I think we need to do a better job of supervision of these guys.
Okay.
Supervision and education, anyway.
But it sounds like.
Always room for improvements and always room for more training on employees.
Right.
I don't care if they've been here for 50 years or been here for 5 days.
Right.
You have anything else for Ryan? Guess the next thing on the agenda was, I guess, have a discussion with the Key West Cemetery.
Yes. So, reached out to you by Ms. Myers on Key West Cemetery. So it's kind of a map here. It's up there. So there's some drainage issues, on the cemetery roads around there. And then, and just a need for some gravel. So if you can look at the black marks I put on there, basically those are just some culvert locations that the culverts are collapsed or failing. The one driveway culvert's about a 20-foot in length and culvert, and then those other two are just kind of walkways to help get people across the ditch there. So they're like 6-foot culverts. But that ditch through there holds water really bad. Needs some ditch cleaning, needs some culverts replaced. Kind of come up with a estimate of about 75 tons of gravel. It's about 5 loads. And that would be basically be doing this full loop and then also this little piece that runs on to the north there and dead ends down there.
It's really thin down there.
It's pretty thin. It's pretty thin, but you know, we've had cemeteries reach out in the past, and I always have them go and talk to their commissioners in the area. So I think she reached out to Todd, and they had some discussions, and you know, we've worked on several cemeteries in the past. And so this is just one of those requests, and just discuss it today. And
Holly, are you gonna be able to, when we talked on the phone the other day, that you thought you might have a little bit of budget money?
Yes, we have, I believe you told me, what, 1,200?
yeah, I mean, with the cost of materials, it's going to be about $1,200.
Yes, we can do that.
You could do the materials, you think.
And that's kind of how, in the past, there's been some cemeteries that have been able to cover the cost of materials, and some haven't, but if they can, it's nice to get the materials covered, and we can provide the labor and equipment. And
Do a cost share on it, basically?
yeah, I mean, it's not going to take, it's minimal ditching.
You guys do the labor, they provide the rock?
Yeah.
Are they gonna need new culverts, or can they be cleaned up?
No, we'll need to replace them culverts. But yeah,
What do you think you got there in cost, Ryan, for 3 culverts?
about 12, well, for the culverts, it was about $275, and then about $800 for rock, I think, is what I had figured.
So 1,200 total.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah, like 1136 is what I had figured for an estimate.
Well, I guess, you know, we've discussed before, like, getting into straightening headstones and everything, and then I think we're going out of our boundaries, but my opinion is that the county should help keep the roads up
Sure.
leading to and in these cemeteries.
Yeah.
I feel that's our responsibility.
Yeah.
May not be a public road, but it is kind of a public road anyway.
Sure. And there's a little, out in the right of way, there's a little ditch work and some old fence that we're gonna take out too, that's along the right of way.
Is that to the west there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
that's pretty old fence out there.
I'd like to paint it, but I started looking at it and it's bent up.
Yeah.
And I think cost-wise, it'd be better to take it out.
Yeah.
Less weed and eating and.
Okay.
What's that on?
The zoning?
Some fencing west of that drive along the highway, some old fencing in there.
Metal,
It's old metal fencing.
If you need something, maybe you can talk to the school and see if the ag kids could do something for you.
I would love to do that, but it's some
Okay.
spots are bent and it's just not,
That's been there forever.
yeah.
This is west of your Highway 50 project, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it stops at
Yeah.
Links,
Yeah, correct.
west of the Bailey place there. Over the hill.
Okay. That sounds like a good plan to me.
Do we need a motion on it, or just go ahead and get it done?
Just verbal.
It's fine, yep. Small board with me.
Especially since you guys found some money in your budget for the materials, that's awesome.
I just think that's just respectful and
Absolutely.
in to opinion.
Thank you.
And it is
I
needed,
appreciate
it is needed out there.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's all I had.
Thanks.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, you guys have a good week.
Yeah, you
Thank
too.
you. Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Harlan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, as we've been talking, there's things rolling in here.
Next thing on here says Peterson adjourned the meeting.
Come on, Peterson.
It is getting really close.
Well, yeah. We have the bylaws that we approved last week. Apparently, we need to sign 2 copies. Looks like everybody needs to sign, so. I will set it.
Planning board?
Yes, yes.
All of this is in this.
Get to that. There's one there.
Yes. What you got there, everything coming your way?
Yeah.
that's the last one for that packet.
Okay.
And then
We'll start a new one.
everything that's coming will go into that one.
Yes. I thought that was the one you marked for me to do. No, that was the economic development. And some, here's some. It's not only that, there's also another something. Lilo, and yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Cultural. No, mine. It's cultural. That and that. Passing the time.
license plate.
I think it's
What was that on like?
That one paper for convergent.
I'm sure it's stuff needed, just not stuff that, I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Don't know what all those items are, but I'm sure they're needed.
that's on the tech side, is that,
Yeah.
that's what I, yeah, I don't talk that talk.
Yeah.
You're not bilingual?
Yeah,
No, I'm not.
thank you for sending that.
No, I
My
got it all.
department, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have help come help me print stuff off of mine. I can't figure this out. It's a little different format on this phone.
When did we buy this?
Most optimal.
Wasn't that sometime back,
Last year.
12/30/2025?
That's my recollection, it's been a while. I know that one was approved last year.
That's why. For me.
Next week, 15th, the hearing on 75 housing district at 9:05.
Put down interviews for board positions. Call candidates and get some more scheduled.
Okay, for board,
And board applicants.
okay.
And we've got, probably take the plan.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. Travis. Oh.
And we got the one in
Oh, okay.
That one is
I used to do it, Travis all the time.
well, there may be some that it's also.
It's my bag.
I don't know.
So,
Oh, that's a bummer. Additional,
Somebody else wants.
where it was went down on the G. Yeah, I saw that. And then, Austin got he fixed it. He got a lifted him up that high, and then he fixed the Jeep out. So it's right over there. Yeah, because otherwise we wouldn't have a call for him, and that's.
Good job, guys. Give us what we need.
But I don't know if that's what the batteries are for.
Are we ready for a break? Are you guys not done? Okay, take a,
I'm impressed with Steve.
take a 6-minute break.
Steve needed to do.
Yes, sir.
Get gold
6-minute break.
Get back in 10. We didn't have to go through that many either.
Okay.
Good.
We will. All right, it's 10 o'clock. We're back in session. Next item on our agenda is we're going to continue discussion about Public Wholesale Water Supply District number 12.
What I want to thank you guys for your time. What I was going to do is just introduce some information, basic information real quick, and then turn it over to Midwest Engineering.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
Basically, when you go through this is we give you a map of what the Magazine Basin is. And what that does is also show you where their allocations for water are. There's currently 10 allocations for water in the Magazine Basin. And what this does is it sets the table so you guys can see how water is being used in our area. And if you go to the next page, we go into the Cottonwood and Neosho River Basin. And there's currently 19 water allocations to go into that basin. So that shows you, when I've made a comment in the past that water allocations are tight, it gives you the visual picture. And you can see how it's done. Third one is I kind of give you a written summary of the lakes that support each basin and what the capacity is of conservation pool, because they make their allocations off of the conservation pool, is what they do. And that water's managed between Kansas Water Office and the Corps of Engineer. So that gives you some extra numbers to look at if you feel necessary. And then I put you some definitions in there. So if we start using words that you're not used to hearing, such as a water marketing contract or water allocation, water rights, this gives you some definitions that you can always go back to and look at. And then the last one is I put together a table, and what it does is it has the zip codes on it. And the zip codes is tied to all the towns that's within Public Wholesale Water District. And I give you the rural city population, the rural population. So this gives you an idea of how many people we do serve up there off of Public Wholesale 12. And that's about it. And then I'm going to turn it over to Ben so he can do your presentation.
Thanks, Carl.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Taking one back down.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to come back in a short time.
You guys work hard, 2 weeks in a row. To help out today, I brought Danny Coltrane. He's our owner, found in Midwest Engineering, and he's our principal. If you have questions, I just messed it up for you, I'm sorry.
It maybe you need power, that.
Okay, there you go, let's try that. So instead of me saying, well, I will find out and follow up with you, a lot of times she's able to just answer those questions, whatever those questions might be today. So what I did, and this is a pretty quick piece, we have short turnaround time, but when I think through some of the comments you were asking about last time, this is kind of how I think about it. It's just big picture stuff. And then there's a few details inside of there. So inside of here, and again, short time, so I know you haven't had a chance to read through it. I just think through, start with the end in mind. What do you want to accomplish with this? So I came talking about an adequate water supply for Coffee County. I put it in that bold because that's just pure baseline. And then from there, you could go to a redundant water supply, because if one ever goes out, do they have a backup water supply in emergency drought times? Do you want to be shovel-ready at targeted industrial sites? We talked about that last time. Do you want to identify areas that are limited in residential growth? Because we do have some of those. You have some of those in South part of the county. They can't add any more meters. And then they're feeding cattle. The people who already get water have a tough time getting. So after that, so that's my question. It kind of leads into the scope. So funding options, we talked about that, and that is the ask we came to you last time, is if there is part of county budget you are willing to consider towards the design of the plan to be able to accomplish these things. And we gave you two options on that. One of them is a bare minimum of getting water to the people who currently buy it, and then the next option is if you have a targeted industrial site. I didn't get you that because we went through that pretty good last time. So your critical path is that adequate water supply to existing users with setting up a 3 MGD up at the plant. So that's just, it's the exact same stuff, it's a different way. Do you want the scope to be a minimum layout? Do you want to be shovel ready, or do you want full county distribution? You started talking about some lines last time, and that's why I brought this. If we want to get into it, I can kind of show you what the county looks like, at least with the information we have access to. We don't have access to everybody, we're not everybody's engineers. We talked about stakeholders and discussed going to economic development or other counties around. I went ahead and looked at everybody that touches. So you have Franklin, Osage, Lyon, Woodson, Greenwood, and Allen that all come in proximity to you. So regional approach could involve all of those. Just as conversations. And as we talked last time, Big Brother approach, we have some data to back that up for you today. So then the next steps, do you want to start on the critical path, or do you want to work towards future goals? Okay. So that kind of lays it out. My little note down there at the bottom, it's just a quick image of this one. It shows that Wholesale 12, delivering water, they supply about 40%, or let me say that a different way, Coffee County receives about 44% of the water coming out of wholesale. Okay, so if you turn the page, that's this one. I modified this information. Again, this is not new stuff. This is what you got inside your water report as part of the Wholesale 12 information. I just expanded it a little bit over here with the questions that you asked about the county, and a little bit over here with some capacity. So if you look under the CF, so Coffee County, that's how many meters are supplied by each of those entities. So Anderson 4 supplies about 17 meters in Coffee County. So just want to clarify, even though they're called Anderson, they are supplying people in Coffee County. So Coffee 3, that's 463, Levo is 435, Osage is 163, and Waverly is 270. So we typically the average, and it comes out really clean because it's like 2.49. We usually use 2.5 as a population average per meter. So we estimate a population average of 9,363 people served. And so out of that, Coffee gets 44%, Osage is 39%, Anderson is 10, and Franklin is 7. Okay? So I hope that goes to answer just a little bit of the questions you asked last time. The next question, well, let me walk through this a little bit. So this one right here, we like to operate off a contract because that dictates the design and what we need to do. So the minimum in here, if you look down at the bottom, that requires between 1 and 1.5 MGD plant operating at 24 hours a day. Okay, so that's your minimum. What I want to point you to is on your average, you are using about 583,000 million gallons of water, which is more than the minimum. So you are needing more than what you actually have. Okay, so that's where some of this can come in from Burlington on Coffee 3, some of those things. And then your 5-year max, this is when everybody's using water, and that's our trigger point on this. If you want to look at infrastructure development coming in, they aren't going to want to know what you can supply 90% of the time. They're going to want to know what you can supply 100% of the time. They don't want to be down and say, oh, well, you don't have water today. I've worked in parts of the world where that happens. You get water on Monday, and the next town gets it on Tuesday. Here, they will want it 100% of the time. So here, that's where we want to design to. So we have minimum, we have your max, this is what everybody has used, that's a real number, and then we have a contract max of just over 1 million gallons. And that one, if we want to supply this, it requires a 3 MGD plant at 16 hours a day. Because our thought, there's only 3 guys operating that plant up there. And if they're operating 24 hours a day like they did just a few years ago in that drought for 2 weeks, that's not a good situation. So we'd rather them operate at 16 hours a day. So those are things we take into consideration. So this is what is actually out there, the supply that you need, and that's why we say you need a 3 MGD plant. Okay? Make sense so far? Okay. So over here on capacity, so if we look at your minimum contract, you are, so Anderson 4 is 154%, Coffee 3 is 163%, and means they can't supply all of that all of the time. Now if we go into the maximum capacity, you drop down there. If we build a 3 MGD plant, you start looking at 65% and 70%, meaning you have about 30% capacity for growth if you have that plant. Again, that's just supply, that's not getting it out to the people, that's supply. And so a 30% growth here, southeast Kansas, that's a pretty good growth piece. Coffee County, I don't know what those numbers are and what you're looking for, but that allows you a little bit of growth for you. That's a lot really, really fast. Does that make sense? Okay, so another little piece of information for you. I think of storage because in times of emergency, that is what happens. And in those 2 weeks, when there is drought going on and they're supplying max, they can't supply all 12 entities at the same time. They will fill this tower, and then they'll fill this tower, and then they'll fill this tower. So storage is a big piece. So I wanted to let you see some of those notes, and this is why if you had a targeted site, you probably need to add some additional storage inside there, both of Clearwell up at the plant, which is not included in that minimum design I told you about, and some on-site storage of like 1 million gallons. That's a pretty big tank. Okay, and then down here, this is probably too much information, but again, I think it's a critical piece. These are all the entities and their storage that's tied in there. Again, this isn't that report we got to you, but I pulled that piece of information out. And then if you ever do want to go into your supply, redundant supply, if you look at that, so Coffee 3 has a dual water supply. They can get water from Wholesale 12 or Burlington. And I stopped in, I talked to Chris, their operator, this morning, and he said that if Burlington wasn't supplying water, Wholesale 12 could get water throughout the entire district. And if you look right up here, that's what we're talking about. See this in the blue? That is Coffee 3. That's a lot of your county. So you can do it. It's not ideal. They like supplying this area from Burlington. But knowing emergencies and what you can do in those times is important. And then you can see some of those others. Ones like Lebo, I'll point out, that's a little bit of a stretch because yes, you do have Wholesale 12. You do have the Coffee 3, but Coffee 3 is fed by Wholesale 12. And so if it's only Wholesale 12 online, that's not really a dual supply. And you do have Burlington coming up, and if they can push water all the way, and that's one I don't know. I haven't asked that question yet. So if they can't get water all the way to Lebo, then that would be a question to ask. Okay. And then last, just to give you a little map of what we're talking about, we shifted this one. So in the Wholesale 12 report, we had focused in on their distribution system. That's up here in the north. But if you're looking at Coffee County, I kind of wanted you to see what's going on in the county. And this gives you just a little bit better description here. So right up in here, you have Osage 4 that's supplying the northeast part of the county. You have Anderson 4 that's supplying right here. Coffee 2 all the way throughout, Coffee 3 all the way throughout, and then Coffee 2 right in here. This is a little bit of no man's land along the river bottom. There's mostly fields and not a lot of residents out there. There may be some wells that they're getting. Down in here, we didn't pull it in. We don't have that info on us. That is an Anderson 5 supply. Okay? So that's kind of what you're looking at. So first part is from the questions I got last time, is just kind of get you a little bit more information towards what you're interested in.
With the direction.
And then, Jenny, did I miss anything, any parts you want to add in?
No, I think, the only other information I brought with me is, from economic development, if we are, looking at, growing business or bringing in industry, I had some numbers if anybody's interested, on water usage, so I've got that information if you guys want me to send that to you. So, if we're looking at, like we're out at the airport, if we're, gonna be trying to, develop land out there and say we're bringing in some more industry about the size of what we have out there, those kind of, industrial businesses, you're looking at, 50,000 to 250,000 gallons per day. So if we're growing out there, eventually that area is going to need more water. If we're looking at, adding some more commercial out of, Junction, that kind of stuff, that's going to be more water usage. I know we've got a couple potential housing projects in some of the city. Lebo Waverly is talking about building houses. So I could see in the next 5 to 10 years, there is going to be, hopefully, an increase in water demand, and that's kind of where I fit in there. And I did want to mention, we're continuing to have meetings about, possible grant funding federally that we may be able to access regionally. One I've been talking with Osage about is this economic development disaster relief that they may be able to qualify for. I think we're gonna try to dig into that this week a little bit. We've been working with Infrastructure Hub technical assistance, so that's kind of what I've been working on, and then just have been working with Carl and Ben and their team on the technical part of it, because that's the part that I just don't have, that's not my background. So.
Something else I'll add is also we talked about the plan up there, this would be a modular style, so anything we would do in the future after it, we just plug and play into.
And that was the second question I asked Chris, because I don't have the Coffee Breeze water lines in there, and he did say that there are several miles, at least 2 of 4-inch, coming down to your airport area, so that would be chokehold on your supply.
Well, and that's I'm not an engineer, but, you know, the water plant's modular. I really like to see us look at the diameter of these lines that we're gonna be bringing from that area, at least till we got down, you know, to Burlington, because you can add on up there, but you're gonna be stuck with that line until it's replaced, you know.
My big concern right now, this is the gorilla in the room, with the data campus going in and Emporia. I know they're on the Neosho Basin there on water, but they're not telling how much water is going to be done. There isn't been any closed loops that are working on water. When they run out of water there, are they going to try to pull out of the Merzine Basin? And if they are, along with Osawatomie building one, there's not going to be enough straws in the water. Are we going to be able to lock down our water that we need for our county, our wholesale waters?
And that's part of what we started the conversation with. We do have an application with the water office on purchase rights, and we either need to lock that in or we need to step away from
Right,
that.
I was gonna say, you either have to lock that in, I don't know what the time frame is, but you have to lock that in or we lose that chance.
They haven't
Is that
given us
correct?
a deadline. I made them wait about a year and a half on it, but it's going to come due, and likely it could happen as something else. So that is one piece.
So the water rights that you've asked for, does that entail the 3MG? I mean,
Yes. That would supply the 3MG. Yep.
So
So,
with growth and everything?
so just the 30% of growth, and that's a residential, and that takes zero consideration into your economic development.
Right, so originally when we were looking at the CHIP project, they were looking at doing a 3 MGD, and then there was gonna be a plan for a second 3 MGD.
So what can happen with that 3 MGD is if they're building a shell, there's restrooms, there's employees that are working, they can supply. Typically, majority amount of time. But if they're doing manufacturing or if they're doing something that has large water usage, that's when it would trigger that second train of the 3 MGD and say, are you able to take care of this? And one of the two things, they pay for it outright as part of the development, or they sign a contract for the life of the loan that would pay for it.
the developers.
Correct.
Okay, right.
And that's what all of this is normally it would be on the developers, but we don't have one, and a lot of times for her to have that conversation, they ask, do you have water? Right now, her answer has to be no. Right now, you have people in your area, they can't add a meter on wherever they want to build. So we can't, it has to be the same answer for everybody, and this allows us to get started.
So we're talking about 3 or 6. I don't know how the water rights work. Can we tie down the 6, or is there a cost incurred?
There is a cost, and it's too much for Wholesale to take on right now, because this one is unique and different. Normally, it's water rights coming out of the river. This is a water purchase from the state of Kansas.
Or a marketing contract.
And it's to the tune of $100,000 to $150,000 a year, which is well covered when that water is purchased, but outright, it would put them in the red.
Right, but is that something we need to look at?
If you wanna tie the water rights down, yes, you have to pay it.
Once you tie them down, then payment starts, is that correct?
Yes.
But
If
then
you
there's
want,
nowhere that, like Osawatomie or Emporia would have rights to tap into ours. That's all.
Corps would have that as part of their, algorithm, to know who gets what, and then they would say yes or no what to do.
Could we sell it to them, they requested it for the amount that you're not using? No one can sell water rights except the state of Kansas.
So once we acquire that, then that's ours.
Yes, and, you guys will look at it as black and white. It's not gonna be black and white, there's gonna be gray areas in there. Because you brought up Emporia, they have a whole lot of water rights because they had, a packing plant. And when the packing plant left, their water dropped, I don't know, 30–40%, I don't remember the numbers. But they have the extra water to advertise, to sell to industry that requires a lot of water, and they're never gonna see the difference.
So that never did change once Tyson closed down, or?
That's why I'm saying those water rights are still there, but if they had those water rights, I've seen it in other basins, where if someone else wants the water and someone's held the water for years, they'll go back and push them to lower their water rights so they can be deferred to somewhere else to benefit the state at large. So, and I think, my opinion is water, we're just starting to see the influence that water's gonna have. I mean, you've always heard it, water's gonna be the next gold. It's, everybody out west, 2/3 of the state, I mean, you got an entire lake underneath of them in that aquifer, it's dropping 100 to 200 feet. I mean, it's an irreplaceable resource that we've used. Here, everything passes through rain, so it's surface water. You have to divert it, store it, and where the Corps put in the lakes years ago for flood control, we now need to advise those, adjust those to do storage to fit industry and residential. And, I mean, you're going through the negotiation with every basin. Redmond, you're seeing the dredging. The other lakes, they've done the dredging, or they've done the studies and found that they didn't fill up as fast. Redmond did because of the nature of the Neosho.
Right.
So now you're back spending money protecting that storage. So anything you come here, there's gonna be a cost for that. And the state, through the water office, the regulators, have identified that 20 years ago and started incorporating those costs. And the cost for that water to hold it used to be 2 or 3 cents, now it's up to 20 cents. And that money goes to maintaining those core structures because the Corps doesn't have the money they used to. So it comes back to anything, you follow the money, and that's where you know what the priority is in the land. So if you want to tie those water rights down in Kansas through those lakes, you have to pay a cost per thousand to hold them. And what gets into the wholesale were funded by lenders of last resort, so which means they were giving grant dollars to subsidize it. When they do that, they do not allow them to take on any more allocation than they can prove. That's why their contracts are $3 million, but their plant capacity is 1.5. They met the current demand. It lasted for 20 years. What didn't happen was the follow-up and the phasing to allow for a healthy county that grew in time. So then we're back to that same avenue, is now the revenue stream is not going to change for that NZ, but we need more capital because we've 100% saturation of that water utility. Now we need more to attract more industry. Someone has to pay the tab to give us more expansion and more growth so we can make the next 20 years. So I mean, that's essentially what you're looking at, is you guys have a bigger checkbook than the others. You have, your county stands to grow more, you can attract the businesses. Anderson County doesn't have the facilities to attract the businesses, you guys do. So that's where it comes to a question is the water the critical point to control the growth of your county.
So that's another reason I put this up here. It's not part of your percentage because it's supplied by Emporia. You have Emporia Water serving some meters inside of Coffee County. So it's not as far away as you think. And You know, when you want to talk regionalization, have conversations, you choose the way you do it. Do you want to do it all completely on your own, or do you want to involve the neighbors around and make sure everybody knows what's going on? But you do have water from Emporia feeding people in Coffee Town. Okay, good questions. What else? Other questions?
I see this in several steps. One, we need to lock the water in through the reservoirs system, so where somebody doesn't stick a bigger straw in than we get, and then we end up having to have a smaller one that we can't out. Limited. You know, there's two things in life that you gotta have. You gotta have oxygen, you gotta have water. You're not gonna die. In our county, if we don't secure the water that we need for this county, we're not gonna go anywhere, 'cause we're not shovel ready for anything. I think, you know, the next step is move towards the 3 mg
million gallons a day.
Yeah, to do that. And I think that if we'd like to have, personally, I think we'd like to have counties, other counties to help us with this if they can. But if they don't, for the success of Coffee County, we may need to move forward on this line. And then charge them out on the other side of the meter for water usage.
Just experience. I mean, I grew up in Barnett. I've worked in southeast Kansas my entire career, other than a little bit in Oklahoma and Texas doing oil and gas. But it's what you spend the money on is going to control it. But it used to be, when I first started, I could lay 75% grant into any one of those entities. The government was set up to subsidize rural living. It went through the water districts, the electric co-ops, the hospitals, the school. All of those revenue streams at the county level you're seeing where that's being brought back. So they're unless the federal government, which you have no control over, deems that it's important for internal infrastructure. Right now they have higher priorities and it's keeping us free. But the need for infrastructure goes up and the funding goes down.
Right.
So someone has to take that lead. And what we've been seeing, I usually get all the money right up front. We did Caney the other day. They had a need that was way higher than they could afford. And we split it into phases. And then we got one entity that SRF bought in the first phase. And then EPA bought in the second. USDA is looking at the third. So once you get the ball rolling a little bit, they see that you're willing to take care of yourself and they agree with your need compared to your surrounding community, you will start attracting attention, you'll get more players and more funding agencies on the wheel to help support it. But it leaves more, you just can't stop. Someone's always got to be pushing that wheel to keep it forward, because if it stops, it's hard to get going again.
I think we're at that point, we gotta get that wheel going, because the 23rd is their hearing with the, in Emporia on with their zoning committee or the planning committee, and they're gonna drop the ball, and it's gonna be crazy, and I think it's gonna affect our county in a positive way if we have water.
To tie up that water for the 3M, what kind of time frame do we have on that? I mean, is
all I have to do is send an email and tell them where that money is coming from. So that would be a commitment to, and I need to find it and know exactly what it is, but if my memory serves me, it's between $100,000 and $150,000 annually that if this county wants to supply that and say, don't worry about that, we will take care of that bill for you. I can add that into
because to go just the minimum, I don't see. I mean, that's not going to be helpful at all for Coffee County.
It keeps you status quo.
It does.
And everything I've heard from you guys is that you're not here spending money on water stations.
If we expect growth, we've got to go to that.
That's correct.
I'm with you, Steve. I think we can better this.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between this one and me coming in with an ask around 1.5 for design, and then going to the next part where you have a targeted industrial site and where you want to go with it and what it will take to do that. 'Cause this is just the plant to produce the water.
Say that again. Say that again. What you just.
So there's two parts. When I came last week, I gave you two estimates.
Right.
What we started with, when you have a targeted industrial site, that would be a 3 MTD plant with a 16-inch line and a 1 million gallon storage tank to get there. And that estimated cost is around $60 million, okay? So our design fee, based on percentage, is at 4.7. If we can pull that off and come in at 60, which is tough because this estimate was done 2 years ago, and we all know what's happened to construction costs in the last 2 years, okay? Also 12 has said they can't afford that. We hate to double rates and then have even more on that. So that was where we brought in this very minimum, no clear well, no extra components, just be able to produce the water. And we think we could do that around the 25 million mark. Again, this is 2 years old.
Why Ben's alluding to that, the state is not gonna let you go up there and tie up those water rights without a plan in place that you're demonstrating. So if you go up there and tie up the water rights, and in 2 years you haven't started engineering, you haven't started easements, you haven't started the process, they're gonna pull that back and say, hey, you're 150,000, thank you, but someone else needs it and you're not progressing forward. Do you feel like I'm misrepresenting that at all?
Not at all. I don't think, because they're evaluating all of it, and at the Kansas Rural Water Association meeting, I want to emphasize the point again, they was really pushing regionalization, regional cooperation, where we interloop, we interhook together, talk amongst ourselves, all the rural water districts, even into neighboring counties. And I got to sit in a meeting with Coffeyville and Independence, and you know anything about that area down there, that's kind of the Half Hills and McCoys, but they're agreeing, they all need to be looped, they all need to be together. And this is just like us, we all need to be looped in together. There's people in Franklin County, I have the sanitarian over there wants to sit down and have a conversation so he understands what it's going to be, because they got a campus too that's being proposed for an AI center. So there's going to be demand that they're going to need, and we need to decide if we're going to be in the game or not be in the game.
And to reiterate, this one you can do with an email and they'll say yes. If you try and do it out of the Neosho River Basin, that's not an email. That's going to be probably years of work to increase water rights and lots of conversations with everybody all up and down the Neosho. That is tough work. This is an email.
The reason why they're ready to work with us is we got work we've done 2 years ahead of time to the Midwest, and we put together, do the chip what we was doing with the KSMC. We got all that numbers, and we got things put together and ready to go. So they know that the product we have is a real thing.
So we give the okay to go ahead and preserve those water rights, then what's the next step? Then what needs to happen? And I think you just alluded to that.
Design.
Pardon, design.
So you have your choice of whether, and the ask is not everything, I'm not giving you a number, I'm just telling you what needs to be done. We could start with main components as doing and do it for about $25 million. And so design fee would be around $1.5 million, somewhere in that ballpark. That doesn't do a full 3 MGD plant. If you want to do a full 3 MGD plant, have a line down here, have the storage in place, be shovel ready for her to have those conversations. That's a $60 million price tag. And this one is listed at 4.7. And I know that's a big number, so that's why I wanted to give you some options. Anywhere in between those two pieces, I have zero idea where your numbers are at for the county. I do know it's budget time, so I'm trying to say it clear. Is that clear?
Yes.
And I think too, kind of as we decide, even if we decide, yes, this needs to happen, I do think if we want to start moving in that direction, we need to look at engineering soon, because you said probably it would take a whole nother year to work on engineering design. So we don't want to get behind in that. But as far as the cost, it also kind of depends how quickly we want to get started. Do we think it needs to be like right now? I told you we are exploring some other federal grant options. Osage County may qualify. I think I'm going to talk to Colleen today a little bit for this disaster supplemental economic development assistance. That one, it could have a federal cost share of up to 80%, so there's a 20% match for qualified projects, which I believe, just from doing a little research, could include water systems and drinking facilities. Definitely they want something that would serve a multi-county region, which we do have. It does need to include infrastructure investment that's going to enable future business attraction, job creation, and tax-based growth. So that's the economic development piece. That one has a rolling deadline, so there's not a deadline unless they run out of funding. That's the only thing you run up against on these, or if they decide to take it out. So that's something we're looking at. From what I understand, Coffee County doesn't qualify, but Osage County could qualify as an applicant, and then we may be looking, at matching funds. Again, those federal grants do take considerable time sometimes, so it just kind of depends on the speed of what we're looking at.
Are any of the other counties that are involved in this, or do they have any abilities to grab any grants like Osage is trying or want to try?
The only conversations I've had right now are with Osage. I think there's maybe been some conversations with Anderson, but I know right now they actually don't have an economic development director. I've been talking with Jessica a little bit. I haven't had conversations with like any of their other leadership.
We're taking the first step of starting with Coffee County, and then we're going to build it out, because within our meeting group, the regional part of this is we looked at where the lead people to take the first step and then take that on to the other adjacent counties.
I feel comfortable knowing about these guys taking that step, get this ball rolling. You snooze, you lose. We don't want all those straws in the lake and we don't end up getting water from it than what we've got right now.
And we know that there's other people that want to hook up, such as
Yes.
Franklin Ford that needs more water, and Anderson Ford's already stated they would take anything extra that could be produced.
And then also, who knows what they're gonna do.
Right. So, I mean, we're stepping in the right direction, we're just being the lead group.
I think if we take the initiative to actually jump on this, you're gonna have other entities say they're up
We wanna
for
be
something,
part of it.
let's.
So what I wanna know is, like, over the next 5 years, what is the dollar ask from Coffee County? What's realistic? I mean, you're talking like the engineering, design, or whatever, and then we're talking water contract fees.
So if you're balancing money and logistics, the piece that's going to show off to the state to get your water rights is the water plant. And it's the longest design and the permitting process. So if we could tell you, hey, we've done this enough, we can do the design in a year. But I also got to go through KDHE and get permitting. And on the water side, that has proven to take, they want me to tell you 90 days, but it's taken over a year on some of these. So you're looking at 1 to 2 years to get through design and permitting of the plant. Now, water lines, we can turn around and design a water line faster and a water tower faster. So if you want to logistically look at things, minimize the cost into it, the water plant is that first step. Taking the water plant, breaking it down, like when we were looking at for just wholesale by itself, we got down to the bare bones. If you guys have a longer range plan, we would say, hey, look at 1 3 MGD train with the future growth of the second 3 MGD train, and that's that mid-range procedure that he's done. Plus, if we do two sides that mirror each other, the permitting process and the conversations with the regulators will be a lot smoother, and we can simply double the numbers on the waste stream summary, things like that. So it would make that a lot smoother plan and transition. So if you wanted to look at it, that mid-range plan, doing a single train to produce 3 MGD, and look at the chlorine contact, the initial contact basin through to the final clear well, that would be the place to start. And then everything there is a replication and redundancy. once you get through the plan set design and the permitting, the permit is good for 2 years from the date of the letter. And then you can ask for another extension and get another. So if you want to look at this as a long-term play, you could work in there 6 years to where your investment is good for 6 years.
As long as we're showing progress along that.
As long as you're showing progress throughout that time.
But can we nail down some dollar figures?
Yes, so this is my lovely spreadsheet I've referred to that I've kept you away from. You're welcome. A 3 MGD plant, we put some numbers in here. So if you were to pay for a loan, so shift that number from just a lump sum to an ongoing amount, it's going to be around the 1.5 million. So your first option is 1.5 million annually for either life of the loan, a 30 or a 40-year note. If you do the full build out, the 60 part, just simply double that. So a $3 million annual commitment to that loan.
And that'd be for, I'm sorry, how many years?
30 or a 40-year
Okay.
note. And I don't have that listed here. It's probably a 40-year note.
What's the current interest rate on
I don't have that here.
that? I assume you probably used 4%. So,
Yeah, it's close. So yeah, don't take that number anywhere, not to a bank, not anything, but that'll give you a ballpark number. You're either looking to 1.5 to 3 million annually for 40 years, if it's building the entire plant.
And that would be the county's that would be the county's part.
Yeah, but you guys don't have to take all of that on.
That's for just the building, I mean.
Right.
If we figure out percentages before we split it up? If we share the half,
Sure.
if we just share the half.
And if you shared half, you consider it like that's a 50% grant coming in. That's very manageable to take on.
But along with that, during that time, hopefully growth will come into the county, which should offset some
You'll
of that
get to
cost.
a developer and that is no longer on your
Right,
budget.
I was gonna say that would,
So during the course, so usually how this works is, I mean, if you sign a contract for engineering, part of that is a study phase, which essentially we identify the process that we want to do, which we already have that in mind, and the cost, and the adjusted cost, and the exact scope of the project you want to do. So we've thrown a lot of things out here with a lot of numbers, but they are 2 years old. It's only fair to look at that again. And you've seen interest rate over the last year, we went from 6.5 on bond issuance to 4.5% in a 12-month time. So for us as engineers, we're going to tell you, we're not a financial advisor. We're going to give you a range and then state what that range is built on, so that as things adjust, but it wasn't 3 years ago, I was getting money under 2%. So the other thing is talking about the logistics of who's going to run this, because the water rights, it's going to be, is it better for wholesale to get the water rights, and then you guys have an interlocal agreement or an MOU to understand who's financing, and if they're going to do that, you guys have to become a member and sign a contract. So that's, all those things come into play, because statutorily, you got wholesales, you got Burlington, you guys don't produce water. So if you want to run this on your own and have wholesale run it, you would have to become a water purchaser, be identified by KDHE as such. But in this case, or do you want to just fund wholesale to operate on your behalf, and you become a voting member of that entity? Which is be interesting, because you'd be a voting member not buying water. I've never seen that done, because it's statutes that control the voting members to that. The other part that comes with it, we did this on another wholesale. Once the original wholesale is formed, if you want to add a new member, then you have to go to each one of those existing members, and they have to have a unanimous vote on their annual meeting to add new voting members. So that's a statutory process, so we cannot change it. We just have to help you navigate that process. So the 2 years going through there's a lot of statutory policies we have to follow, with the water rights, with the owners. That's not simply, now, you can avoid wholesale and say, hey, we want to create our own water plant and we want to sell water. That's the only way that you come about and control everything with your money. But that's another whole different business sector that I don't think you're looking at. But, so there's politics that go with the money that would go with the entity.
With your services, would you navigate that for us with the wholesale water and becoming a voting member?
Yeah. Essentially what our contract is to be your representative, to follow through with what your wishes are. And of course, if it's just a water plant, we'll give you a lump sum fee because it's very clear cut. A lot of times we'll add on the back end of it, hey, meetings. Like this, it's going to be heavy on meetings and things that we can't predict what's going to happen. So those will be done hourly. We're close, ended Emporia on Iowa, so it's not hard for us to get here. I spent 35 years navigating southeast Kansas and these exact rules, so I'm very familiar. I would have to tell you, I got multiple clients along the Neosho River Basin, and for years I've Chanute, Parsons, tell each one of them, be careful, don't allow anybody to take all of those water rights, because it controls the entire basin if somebody at the south end takes everything from the north end. So always make them prove the rights.
I was just gonna chime in really quick that you're talking about working with us and meetings. I would like to say Ben has already been in a lot of meetings with our group, either on Zoom or in person, and thus far they haven't sent us any bills for the time that they've put in. It's been very helpful to understand where the project has been and where it could be going. So it's been great to work with so far.
I want to add in on that. When I started working with the Kansas Water Office, they was with us the entire time and stood with us the entire time. Never once did we receive a bill from them. They was very supportive in our cause and what we wanted to do with Public Wholesale 12 and what we wanted to do with the development in Northern Coffee County.
Now, I will say, part of that was the water study that you paid for, so the percentage that you paid helped cover some of those meetings.
Right.
But that ended 2 years ago, so we were done with that. And the way we did that is we had a subcontract with CFS. And so that is this note right down here on amendment to the water study. Is that you want us to continue working with them on doing that, or if you want an amendment direct from Midwest to be able to do that stuff. So that's an option for them.
Or do you want us to work for Wholesale 12, and then you guys do an interlocal agreement to fund 12's efforts?
Be in the
I don't want
water business.
Yeah, I don't want to be in the water business.
Well, it's not our county, I mean, how could you do that? I suppose there's a way, but how do you do that? You go out there and say, hey, we're building a plant here in your backyard. I'm not supposed to, there's a way to do it apparently, but.
That's the politics at the highest level there.
Yeah.
You guys get scrutiny at everything you do. I'm very aware of what happens if you try. Half people are happy and half of them are not. So
I don't think the intent is to go around District 12, I think, our intent is to.
With partners.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to do that, I mean, then our contract should be with 12, which is why we're here to begin with, was our relationship with Wholesale 12.
And we tied it back to health and safety. You are making sure that Coffee County residents have access to safe and reliable water.
Have you guys had conversations with Wholesale 12 regarding this any?
I keep them up to date.
Are they receptive to this?
Yes, very much so. But their preference is that I come to these meetings and have the conversation with you instead of them.
You're the messenger between it, yeah.
And I know some of the Coffee County Wholesale 12 representatives have been on some of our Zoom meetings.
Absolutely. Yep. Eric off of Lebo is happy to do that. James with Coffee Free is happy to come in. We just say, this is the meeting, this is one of them we want to do. As opposed to you having 12 members in your gallery.
Then, out of curiosity on this $1.5 million neighborhood for 40 years on building the facility. Will that have anything to do with new lines that we're talking about enlarging or not? That'll be on top of it.
But we can put it in the study portion of it, update the estimate, pick alignments, things like that at the study level, that if somebody comes in and say, we want water and we want to pull the trigger, I mean, the numbers will be there, and we'll just update them for inflationary reasons. So it would be a very good planning tool, more in-depth, meeting a very defined goal that you guys want to meet, so.
And that's kind of the purpose of me going to the scope and starting with the end in mind. If you guys can give us a clear what you are looking for, we can provide very fast what that is.
We need a resolution on this to at least lock things down to get the ball finally rolling in the direction we need to go.
That's our course.
You're talking about the water rights?
Water rights and going through the 30 million gallon facility. We're getting the engineering started on it. Okay, is that what you guys are thinking?
Yeah, how do we start? You guys know how this is.
The direction, at least, I mean, everything has to be defined, is if you guys would kind of set the scope, that would allow us to go back and revise, update numbers, and report to Wholesale 12 to see if they're willing. And that way, everybody's going to be on at least a current estimate of probable cost. And so you guys have indicated you want water rights for an additional 3 MGD. You would like a plant for 3 MGD. You would like to know how to distribute it and store it. We can adjust our numbers, come back with an adjusted, because we have so many options there. It's like, and we did it under a $30,000 bill. That a study for just a full plant to this scope, it ought to be 60 to 100,000, depending on how much. It's just we're rinsing and repeating because we've done the exact thing at Chanute. They're building it right now, so we have access to those numbers, and we're just repeating it. So it'd be nice if you're clear on the scope, we could come back with an up-to-date estimate of cost and look at the interaction. The Wholesale 12, you guys want them to be the lead on it. And then for your legal counsel, if they had an idea of how to accomplish the interaction between the two, whether, I mean, you're not going to buy water so you can't be a member, but it doesn't mean you can't be a facilitator and provide them financing. Because that's what Wholesale 12 is. They won't make a decision until they have something that tells them that someone is providing them. And it's going to have to be a legal document that says that you guys are going to, that they can hold you to it at a later date.
What kind of time scope are we looking at here for this? How much time between what you guys come up with on this to tie all these together?
To make that
30 to 45 days, simply because Wholesale only meets once a month unless they do a special meeting.
But then they may come up here in a couple of weeks. So for me to go to them, because I've been doing this for 2.5 years, their question will be, what is Coffee County willing to do? And they'd like to see that written down. So, as he talked about, if we did a design contract, most likely we'll be with Wholesale 12 to do the design as the owner, but then have a memorandum with the county that we will be willing to pay for this. And that piece is the key of, are you willing and have the funds to be able to do a lump sum of this amount towards this, or an annual commitment of this? If you have that number and you make that official, I can have that conversation.
And that's where the 1.5 or the 3 million comes in, is that
It
correct?
is.
And that's on the annual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you would
Or a
start
lump
with-
sum to just design. So just design as opposed to paying for the entire project.
Yeah.
You're doing.
That 1.5 is.
So, because I can have that conversation every month for the next 6 months, but unless they have that piece, they will take zero action.
Right.
They need a commitment from you on what you're able to do.
And if you guys could start that with simply a letter on letterhead. I don't know the exact business, but if you started out with a letterhead, we could have that conversation. That way you don't have legal fees tied and engineering fees tied into writing the contract. If both people agree to the letter, then you can, authorize your ex-legal counsel to start what those contracts would look like. So, and in that time period, we can have an estimate of probable cost to attach to it, and then you guys could circle, hey, we'll be responsible for these fees within the estimate.
You can send that email out for the wholesale water to lock in our amount that we need.
I can email them and say we're ready to have this discussion and then get that exact number again of if we want the 3 MGD or what this and what that annual cost would be. Absolutely. I can start
You
that.
can do that before we have to come back and after the legal side of it and everything.
Yep,
That would be great.
And they would be, that's in line with what we've done. I think we can just start that.
They need a letter from you telling them how much, and that you're willing to take on that cost. And that you'll facilitate the necessary legal documents to back it as it goes forward.
I'd be happy to work on that and then maybe put it to you guys next week to look at and decide if you want to sign
That'd
something.
be great.
Maybe if you have it ahead of time, maybe Wade could look
Wade
at
can
it.
take a look at it.
So you need a letter of support and commitment from Coffee County for, do you need it to have a final figure? You've got all kinds of different numbers.
And that's where it comes to here of,
Let us do our estimate for the scope that you've demonstrated today. That way there's one option on it, and we can always go back to the other options, because the meetings are documented, you guys know what we've said, but let's define that scope so it's clear to wholesale what you guys would like to see.
so for us to do that, we've talked about a 3 MGD. We haven't talked too much about that distribution, but that's that large amount. Do you want a distribution line from wholesale 12 to come down that can feed a industrial site? You want that included?
As a later phase.
I think, I think without that, then it's.
At least at the airport.
Especially
At least
yeah,
at least get that far.
Yeah,
Be nice if it came on, but at least get that far.
at least get that far.
Okay.
At least get us to the airport.
So what that does is we will take the second estimate that I gave you last time, that's the $60 million price tag, and go off of that, because that will do a full, again, we have to revise it.
And then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
A full 3 MGD, not half of it, a full 3 MGD, and sending it down here to an industrial site.
We'll split it into 3 contracts, one for storage, one for line, and one for the plant.
That'd be all for us.
Yes.
Is that right?
It will feed all of the wholesale members. Again, you guys are getting 44% of that. And
That's for the first 3 MGD. And then we talked about we end up securing a large water user, then just like we're doing with the chips, we could say, okay, this is what we're building, and then it's modular, so you could add another.
And so that would cover the north part of the Vita, correct?
Correct, but it's not really feasible to do that unless you know you're gonna have a large water.
Right,
user.
right.
But if we put the lines in and everything, we put a modular on that, will lines handle the capacity of water that we'd be pumping at that time?
We would tell you what their capacity is, and then you can decide if that entity fits. That's another one thing where the phasing with the lines, you can turnkey those pretty quick. And if we have a plan set that says 16 and you need it to be 24 or 12, we change it. Those are the simplest numbers on the page.
At that time.
Yes.
Yep.
he will tell you, don't put those lines in place. You don't want a 16-inch line feeding what right now a 4-inch line will do, because that'll cause problems on your house side.
So this could bring, and you asked about how it'll benefit you guys, is if you have an industrial park out there, Coffee 3 chooses, if it's in Coffee 3's annexed area, they choose not to do it, you guys can petition to become a member of wholesale and get that extra water, or you have to have Coffee 3 petition for you and expand their water rights. Those water rights go to a vote of the entire board. So that's the merits of working with Wholesale 12, is you got to get all your Coffee County people to support you, but you're only 4 out of the total numbers. So those other counties could stymie this growth by their vote. So it's very good that all of them go together. But there's also that's where these contracts up front will be very important, how they are written. Because if you don't have a direct vote on the board, but you're funding all the money, that's questionable.
Do you think it's questionable with them, or you think it's a push that they'll want our support?
I think they want their support. I just think everybody needs a document to go by that contractually set expectations, and it has to fit within current Kansas statutes for wholesale. I mean, wholesale, they're in the water business. They're also the ones that's going to be more realistically getting the water rights, and they will also look better to lenders of last resort. If you guys go in as a county, you guys have more money than wholesale does. They're going to look at your entire budget and say, hey, you can afford to pay more here. Well, you're really cutting more money out of a strapped budget, and you'll have to defend that to the banker. You don't want to do that. You want to separate it, let wholesale be the water representative, and you guys fund them with enough money to make it happen. So.
And you guys are gonna help ramrod this through with our legal counsel, Jenny, Carl, whatever we need.
We'll play our role in that.
Because it's obvious, this is a complicated
Yes.
It is.
situation that you guys have dealt with numerous times. That for us to sit here, or at least for me, to try to figure out all the different angles of how these pieces of this puzzle fit together, we're going to be relying heavily on you people to say, hey, here's what's going to happen. You don't want to do that. Here's how this needs to be approached. Just like, did I understand you to say you don't want to build the big water lines until you have the use for them?
Yep, it'll stagnate inside of there and cause problems.
Okay.
So,
because, from my viewpoint is, man, we're getting this done, let's get a big line
yeah,
buried,
awesome water line, but if you only have 2 meters turning it on, it stays still because they can only use it.
Right.
And so that kind of takes us back to why we came in the first place. You guys can do this with any engineering company in all kinds of ways. And you can shove it through, and at the end, everybody's going to be upset with everybody else. Or there is a way to do it where you benefit your local ranchers, your farmers, all of your residents, and your industry coming.
We want the whole region to benefit.
We would like everybody to be happy with this, and, there's a lot of that conversation with data centers and everything else. You have a unique situation here where having an industrial user will benefit everyone because you have the water available. You are not taking it away from anybody else. It's sitting up there available. That's rare in here.
I think it'd be a great recruiting tool for economic development, saying we have the water to supply them, but we just gotta get locked in and not procrastinate like has been in the past. You said the water study's 2 years old and it's been set on. Yeah, we need to move.
Yeah, I think that's what I've learned over the last year with our meetings that we've been having is, this is not a quick 12-month project. This is a year's project, but if we don't take the first step, then it's going to be another 5 or 6 years.
You've got to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And that's the part.
Forward.
Our previous conversations, when we laid all this stuff out, it was when we hit go time, you have 18 months to have it built to deliver water. When you have that type of a timeline, bad things happen, and people get ran over, and it's usually the residents. So this prevents all that. You can have what you want, what's happening, and then
get the plan.
You have your answers ready. So like today, when I open this up, I can do your numbers because we have a report we've done.
Just out of curiosity, how much would a module cost if we decided to do that in the future? To add another module up at the water facility to add more water to it?
So then you're getting into water rights, and the water rights is going to start controlling that. So Malvern is not a...
They can't go up to the 6 MGD, but they have to stop there. If you put 3 of them or 4 of them, that is...
So then it gets into understanding water rights. So we tell you 6 MGD a day, that's an average flow. Nothing is average. Industry is average.
Right.
You give an industry, they run 24/7, take a set flow. You do households, we have average day and max day. Max day, for lack of a better number, is double what an average day. You know what you do in July and August versus May and June. So water rights are on that average day demand. So if we're serving residential, if we have 6 MGD average, we can service a 12 MGD demand. But if you're strictly servicing industry and you have a 6 MGD demand, there's no expansion to that. There's no growth, there's no ebb and flow. So
This number that we're starting with, the Kansas Water Office just told us this is where you can go to at this point in time, because we also need to go back and renegotiate with the Corps of Engineers to get more water released so we can market that water. So this is the point where we can bump to. So as we bump to the next one in the future, it goes back to, it's a communication chain again, just like what
gives another 2 years to the
yeah.
time frame.
So if you do that, then they told us right up front that we'll let you go to here now because we know we have it, we know it's there, it's in our formula, we've calculated it in. But we can't let you go beyond that because we need to renegotiate for more water out of the pool.
But we knew from a few years ago when we were looking at that KSMC project, the plans for that were up to 6 MGD, correct?
That's when we first started it.
Yeah.
And when we start working on Carl White, then that's where we was at with the first, and then we was gonna go to the second. But that was gonna be over a 10 to a 15-year time frame, because as we built structures up there, then we knew that we was gonna need more water, then that allowed us to go back to the paperwork trail to add on more water plant to access more water. We just know where we can go to right now with the Kansas Water Office. If we go beyond that, then we start, Danny's right, we go back to what, we gotta make more application, more for the Kansas Water Office and more for the Corps of Engineers.
Definitely a long-term project.
Yes.
If we put 3D and get it started, then we can always.
And that's where we find, and Danny talks about all the time, critical path, what's that happening? And so here, you have half of a 3 MGD plant, and then do it as you can. If you are interested in that and willing to take on that other half so they can just have the full 3 MGD, that changes things. And then we design it so, yeah, you have that 3 MGD, but you could add another one, and there's space for it. You're not tearing, or everything you do has value added on. As opposed to right now, with that plant, you can't do that with that.
Right.
And so this is the first step in our leadership towards going towards more regionalization, what we want to do.
And our point isn't here to throw up roadblocks, it's just set expectations. If I say your expectations appropriately, you'll understand what we're doing for you. But if we come in here today and sold you a 6 MG plant for X amount of dollars, will be done in a year, you guys will be very frustrated at the end of it, because then I'd come back and say, well, your legal counsel didn't do this, your guys didn't, Carl didn't do this, because all that politics that's happening in the background, that's not my job, or I could do it, but it is a community we live in. We want to help you facilitate each parts and pieces. That's what we want you to understand, those expectations. By the time that it gets done, some of you guys may not be on the commission, it may be the next guys, so I want it to be, it's easy for me to come into a new commission and say, we've designed the Chevy, we're continuing to build. We didn't design a Cadillac and throw it all in one deal. It's like, this is very defendable. Water is the very essence of what controls growth in the county, so it's easy for others to buy in and accept that and move forward with it.
So what will you be doing the next 2 to 4 weeks exactly?
We'll be redefining the estimate for a 3 MGD plant, pipeline and storage with one targeted estimate, and we will use that to facilitate conversation with Wholesale 12.
And the text message, or the email.
Yep, to the KW.
And I'll
It's got a lot of
work with
stuff to
them on that.
digest more also.
So if you guys are staying with Wholesale, Wholesale has to authorize us to send an email.
Right.
They won't authorize us to send an email till they get a letter of support from you guys.
I'll work on that.
So even this first step is 3 steps.
Right,
See, we're building upon information we've had from the past, and we're building it more towards the future, and there's going to be more discussions like
Right.
If you're in budget time and you're trying to decide something that's gonna happen in the next year, the question to you, that you have to do enough from us is either a lump sum or an annual commitment, what do you wanna consider? And I can have that back to you, so you already have those numbers of ballparks. So which ballpark do you wanna shoot for? And then we'll
So your client is technically wholesale 12, right? So there would need to be an arrangement with wholesale 12 to maybe.
And that's been our discussion, is we would like to have our contracts with wholesale 12, but if we can have a memorandum from you to say this is the financial support for that, then that kind of keeps everything in the correct avenue.
I mean, we wouldn't mind having a contract with the county, it's just the county can't apply the permits to go after the water rights and expansions. So, very simply put, we just think, unless you want to get in the water business. And that's a different conversation.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what we want to do.
No, we don't. I know, Steve,
But that's where an agreement between Coffee County and Wholesale 12, that Coffee County is going to provide X amount of financial support. What does Coffee County get in return? Does that make sense? Just trying to figure out, so.
Right now, what you get in return contractually is the 44% of wholesale's water comes here. You're assuring that that's stable, and you would be looking at ways to increase the contracts to those Coffee County agencies. So, does Coffee 3 apply for more water rights? Does Coffee 2, does LEVA, or does the Coffee County itself become a voting member? I mean, those are things that have to be decided and amended.
You are doing preventative work to make sure everybody gets adequate water in times of high demand. And right now, we know that that's not how the next drought that comes through, they may not be able to run. And they may not be able to handle it as well. And so this helps to prevent crisis on your home. But from the basis
No,
of that help.
I understand overall the overarching themes. I'm just trying to figure out how to now put something, work with Wholesale 12 on whatever that agreement is.
In the meantime, we can work on some of that and can shoot that to you.
So, to me, that initial letter says, hey, we are looking to provide more water to Coffee County. We're willing to pay for the additional service fee on the water rights, and we're willing to pay for engineering to take the first steps forward. And to see how this materializes, and we would like to have an understanding that we will contractually, in the future, look at contractually bringing this water to, as much water to Coffee County as possible. I mean, we grew up in Anderson County. I can't tell you the number of people that worked at Wolf Creek that came over here. I mean, they provided high-paying jobs. It benefited that community. Now, did they get a direct stipend from the taxes? No. But those communities did benefit.
Okay. Good. Any other questions? I guess move forward.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, guys.
That's still a lot of time.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I could read his name.
That's why I'm on there, because
Yeah.
I have to decide.
I might work with you on that together, start getting
Okay.
Let's shoot.
I'll start working on it and I can shoot this together.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is plan to have an executive session to further discuss our technology director applicant. I'm thinking like 10 minutes. I'd be able to do it in 5, it just depends how, she wanted to call it 7. And let's go ahead and do 10, and then we can, if we finish early, we take a break. We'll get back here. It'd be us, county councilor Wade, no, not regarding personnel matters, not like personnel.
Got it.
Okay. Do that. Okay, I will move to enter into a 10-minute executive session to include each of the commissioners and County Councilor Wade Bowie II regarding personnel matters and non-elected personnel. We have a discussion regarding the candidate for IT director under Kansas Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4319E1. And to resume in the county commission chambers at 11:32.
I'll second that.
Okay.
You did move.
Yes, I did. I moved and Thompson seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0. Yes, we're in. We lost. Wait. Okay. Actually, I wanna, if we could take a 5-minute break, I would like a 5-minute break, and then I can also, go get Adam, and we'll go into another executive session with him. So, take 5, be back at 11:39. It's possible. Yeah. After us. Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, I thought they were. Maybe it's 500. That's what they're in it to us for. Yeah. What is right there, so. What happened to our county councilor? Is he in your office? Mm-hmm. Oh. We're going to enter executive session again for probably 10 minutes. 10 minutes, long enough. And we'll have the same people, and then we'll also have Adam Carver, IT.
What is the IT? What's your title?
Well, I'm calling him candidate.
Okay,
IT
candidate.
director candidate.
Good idea.
Okay, I will move to enter into executive session for 10 minutes to include each of the commissioners, IT director candidate Adam Carver and County Councilor Wade Bowie II regarding personnel matters of non-elected personnel, discussion regarding candidate for IT director. under the Kansas Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4319B1, to resume in the county commission chambers at 11:53.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 5-0.
Copy 1143.
All right, we are back in open session, 11:53. No action, immediate action, I guess, after that executive session. Guess we're ready for a roundtable. Wade, do you have things for us today?
Just briefly, I didn't write down the date when we set that road viewing.
July 13th, 1 to 3?
Okay. That's what I wanted to make sure. So,
Okay.
just so you know, historically, what you need to be prepared and plan for. And what time is that public hearing set for?
Next week?
No, the 13th, July 13th.
July 13th.
I don't know that.
Let me see here. 1 PM is the road viewing, right?
Okay.
Is there a public hearing that day too?
There has to be a public hearing too. So I don't know if you want to back it up. In the past, what's been done, that everybody has met here and then you take a caravan out to whatever the site is. So one of the ones that's been done previously, you meet here at 11, everybody gets together, they go out, do the road viewing, come back, have lunch, and then you have the public hearing at 1 o'clock, and you get everything done all at one time. That includes your road viewers, the entire commission, the county surveyor, and whoever else is going to go, but those are the necessary parties. So I just want to make sure it might be of value to back that up, go out at 11, reserve county vehicles to go out and do that, and then come back and maybe have the public hearing at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Or the people that are petitioning this, are they gonna be involved in this?
But they'll have, so I've spoken to them once, one of them's out of state, but there's another one that's in state, so they had indicated to me one more time they'll have somebody present.
The people that it could impact, will they be invited to it?
So the adjacent or adjoining landowners were required to send notice to them. I have that list. I have a property map that I had the appraiser's office put together for me. There's 4 landowners in that area that it touches, and they will be provided notice, and they'll be able to, they'll know about what's going on.
And that's acceptable for them to be there at the property and here also, correct, the adjacent landowners? Or do they just need to come to the meeting
I'm not sure about
for the viewing?
the viewing, I would assume. I mean, it's an open process, so they want to be there, but you know, the road viewers and the board really go through the questions, and the questions end up being to determine whether the road is not a public utility by reason of neglect, non-use, or inconvenience or from other cause or causes the road is practically impassable, and the necessity for such road as a public utility does not justify the expenditure of the necessary funds to repair the road or put the road in condition for public travel. So then there's a whole section where the road viewers go through that process, make their determination, actually have to give particular findings, and then if it is going to be closed, then the viewers have to assess and determine an amount of damages that may be sustained by any person for the closing of the vacation of the road. So those are two things that sort of go hand in hand, or to decide not to close it.
I think in this particular case, I think some of the major concern is not having access to the road for the greater ditches for drainage. So, I mean, I think it is gonna have impact. I mean, so I guess my question is, those landowners, do you think there's any reason for them to come to the site, or should they just come to the hearing and they can comment then?
They'll be provided a letter with notice that it's taking place, and I think it'll be up to them to decide what they want to do. I have sort of the notice that Angie will have to, it has to go out certified mail to the adjacent landowner, so I have sort of my draft. I just wanted to adjust the times with your permission for that particular hearing itself.
So change it from 1 to 11.
Well, the public hearing will be at 1.
Right.
But to have everybody show up, go out.
Meet here at 11.
Yeah, and then come back afterwards, depending on, I guess, if there's time. And provide lunch. I know that's historically what's been done for the people who've been involved.
Okay.
And then the last thing that you have to do is appoint 3 disinterested householders as road viewers. So I have the names. I think I don't know if you want to formally do that now or later, but
Well, we had a list, didn't we?
I've reached out to the people and they've agreed to do it. I just need to get them on board with the date and time of it.
You prepare a motion for next week, and then we can just do it at that time.
Okay. And then the county surveyor will have to be there as well. So that is what I wanted to talk about. Going back to the water conversation, I'm going to work with Jenny on a letter of support and commitment. I think you're going to have to figure out the number side of it and what that looks like. So for example, at least in what he handed out last week for the new 3 MGD facility and the basic engineering services, and that the design phase was $4,766,975. Just since you were provided the documents that demonstrate 44% of what comes out of 12 supports Coffee County residents. 44% of that is $2,097,469. And then for the total project of the 60,285,426, 44% of that is $26,525,587. And I'm not saying 44% is your magic number, but at least that's something that you can quantify and identify as a number that,
And there could be some grants through other counties or other entities that could go toward that too.
but if I understood right, what he was saying, he needed the commitment to pay for the design phase, because that has to be done before anything else, and that's a year out if they start today. So your $4.7, $4.8 million is that design phase, and if Coffee County were gonna contribute 44%, and that's just a number I'm throwing out there just at a minimum for Coffee County's commitment, that's $2,097,469. Now, it may be a bigger commitment, but that's this overarching theme that covers, all of the counties and entities involved, and who's gonna, help. I know the ask is that Coffee County be the leader and get the wheels in motion, and just figuring out what that would take, and on what that initial cost to get it going would be with Midwest Engineering, and then to pay for it over time, how that would be allocated. That's number one. Number two is the $150,000 per year for the water rights, which probably is less of a commitment than the other, just so you have that.
I have no problem drafting the letter and everything, but as far as the numbers, I wanted to try to digest everything a little bit better and get a better understanding of everything he presented today. I don't know how everyone else feels, but
I just think that on my part of the argument, I write down wants and needs. There's lots of wants in the county. I think this is a need. We've been doing this dead horse for quite a while, not just this commission, but other commissions, and the trigger needs to be pulled on it to get it to go by and to take care of all parts. And then what's going on in the two river basins with technology going on with data centers, we don't want to be left standing trying to drill water wells or something which we can't depend upon at all, or scrambling for water.
Yeah, it's time to try to get our share.
I agree. Still want to have a good grasp
Gotta have
of what
a sense
of how much,
Mark, yeah.
Would there be a benefit, and I'm just throwing this out there, putting a committee together, including a commissioner, Carl, Jenny, a rep from Rural 3, from Wholesale 12, from Midwest Engineering, and any of the other entities to have an overarching conversation for the entire pool of entities that receive water from 12. I mean, 12 is
you mean Coffee County entities that receive?
Well, Coffee County or even on the outside to see, ideally they contribute something financially. I mean, at a minimum, who's involved in Coffee County, but the others come into play too, because they'll potentially have to, you need to know what their financial situation is and what they can and can't do, and that may help impact the decision from this board moving forward about being the major player.
They're in the budget process right now also.
Right.
Along with that, so.
I mean, you have, according to the sheet they provided, you have Anderson 4, Coffee 3, Lebo, Linden, Melbourne, Osage 4, 6, Pomona, Winlow, Waverly, Williamsburg, all involved. I'm not sure, looks like you'd only need, I don't know who all you need. So to at least sit down and have a initial conversation with those leaders, because it's a regional impact.
Okay. I'll, bring the whole Jenny and Carl, just talk to them further on that. See if they can set up some kind of committee, and reach out. Anything else?
Not for today.
Tom, do you have anything?
We sometime need to be thinking we're gonna do the housing authority. I think everybody's got their thoughts and feelings out there, but we need to figure out what we're actually gonna do and move on.
I'll put it on the agenda for next week. Maybe get the housing, Coffee County Housing Authority on the agenda for
Yep.
next week. Might fit it toward the end. And could be lengthy discussion also.
What do you want me to just say, housing authority discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Tom? Wade?
We talked earlier about, possibly trying to get this land that's north of, on the new airport road up there that was taken out, that, try to get somebody to bail that. Darren's been gone for the last 2 weeks, and I did talk to him this morning, and, an idea that I had asked him about, and I don't know whether the renter would be interested or not, but the renter had that area rented for grazing. Now, it's not very smooth. I mean, it is mowable, but it's not as good as their other mowable grass they have, but they have grazing grass and mowable as part of their contract. He said there's like 110 acres that got taken out of their contract, but he did some mapping on it this morning. He thinks there would be about 55 acres that would be mowable. That's a rough estimate. So, would it be feasible with you guys if we offered that to the tenant? I mean, they paid a higher rent.
Sure, you should be able to turn it down if they don't want it.
Yeah, I mean, that's $47.50 is what they did, which is higher than anything else we've leased. So, is that okay with everybody if I contact them?
Yeah.
Give them the opportunity, and, I mean, we're late in the game here, we're just trying to recoup a little money here, but maybe they'd be interested in going ahead and doing that. So if that's okay, I'll proceed that way.
Go for it.
And that's all I've got.
Yeah. Mike? Don't believe so. Steve?
I do. It's just one item. I had a lady that contacted me this past week on Arden Pear resigned, and she reached out. She's been a former member of the hospital board, Jody Thomas, and she just reached out and wanted to know if it would be, she would be willing to finish out that term. She would be willing to finish out that term.
To finish Arden's term.
Yes. I told her I'd bring it up to the board as a whole to see what, I told her, I said I wasn't sure what the plans were, but I would bring that up to the board for their consideration.
When's the term expire?
The
The end of this year, I
the end of
believe.
this year.
December?
Yeah. Jody was one of the applicants before to reapply. And again, I just told her that I would bring it up for consideration.
Well, to go along with that, next week's meeting, I told Angie to go ahead and, make room on the agenda to interview some board applicants. Because I know we have one for the airport board, at least one for the airport board to interview. We have 2 positions open on that board. We have 1 position on the planning board, and I know there's at least 1 that expressed interest, and maybe 2, so, and then we have the hospital board, so, I mean, we could do that also. I mean, we can,
And she interviewed the last time, I mean, I didn't know what the procedure, I just told her I would bring it up, and, I guess I just need some guidance or your thoughts or.
I'd say, because one of the planning board applicants also applied before. So, I would probably want to just interview him again.
In case we have somebody else show up, maybe it'd be fairest just to ask everybody to interview.
And then, let everybody know that, I mean, we are planning to interview next week, so if anybody else is interested and they have not applied yet, maybe it'd be a good idea to apply yet this week and then get them on the schedule to interview.
And I think, I don't know. So in her case, should she reapply or just go by this past application? I mean, just.
If we have her application from before, I mean,
We do,
they
yeah.
can look at that and then we can just
Okay.
call her up and, just reactivate.
Yeah,
Just reactivate her application.
Yeah.
that would be fine with me.
If she's okay with that.
I'm
Unless
sure she
unless she wants to fill out a new one.
No, she just reached out and she just, I told her that I would bring that up to you as to the full commission. And if that's what the desire is, I can reach back out to her or
You could
Angie
interview.
can or whatever, to re-interview.
That's fine with me.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else?
Nope, I don't, that's all I got.
Okay, in the board interviews, I guess that's basically all I had, I guess. Angie, do you have anything?
No, just that I have gone ahead and scheduled one and left a message with the second one for board interviews next week, so
Okay.
that's all I have.
All right. Our business here is done. So, adjourn at 12.
Interview them.
Adjourn at 12:15.